What's up everyone, Kbukme, you know me. Today I got a real good one for you. Now keep in mind it is slow, but you are going to learn so much out of this. And this is pretty much the exact reason for my YouTube itself, is just to get out there and get the knowledge out for everybody. I think smart home is a little misconstrued, and I don't think that people actually realize what a smart home is. Just being able to toggle stuff off and on from your phone is just another light switch. It should all work for itself and it should all do it on its own. So I'm going to explain all different ways on how you can start to realize how you can start to use all the stuff in your house. And having more stuff means more of a headache, but it's going to work a lot better too. Keep in mind this does take a long time to go through just because it is a new concept, and it does take a very, very long time to set up. So if you're willing and you want to learn, stick with me. Alright, we'll see you then. And is this not just the cutest little boy?
Get down and we fuck shit up.
Alright guys, I think I'm finally done with kind of getting everything together to where it needs to be. So let me load this up, pause the music. Alright, so basically I'll go over kind of the brief description of what we're going to go through. First things first, we're going to just do the install. We're just going to put all the stuff in. I'm going to delete everything, every action, every routine, everything that I've done. So first things first, we're going to put all the stuff in. Then we're going to go through and learn how to use the software. And then after that, we'll start putting in the routines and automations and all that other fun stuff. So let me get my screen recording going here just so we can see what's going on. And so just as a basic inventory, like I said, this is just a rough draft, and I'll be doing a more detailed one as we go. But for virtual devices, we got the weather channel. You can link up literally everything to your house. So if it's going to rain outside, you could have one of your lights turn blue or something, so you know you gotta wear a jacket when you're outside. I mean, even if it's gonna snow, the lights will blink white or something. However you want to configure your house, we're gonna make it happen. So if you guys come up with any comments, questions, concerns, or even just some random ideas that you think in your head and you might not have the devices, send it over to me and I'll see if I can make it happen. So first off, we got virtual devices, weather channel, and virtual buttons. Virtual buttons would be anything that you push like on your phone, a tablet, that would react the same way as if you actually pushed a physical button. We got light bulbs. I got 16 white hue bulbs. I got 7 hue color, a hue strip, Lifix color, Lifix tiles, Lifix strip, and a hue go. Locks, I got the quick set. That's actually currently broken, but I'm going to still include it because it's in my door. It just spins the wrong direction, so I got to figure that one out. Thermostat, we got the Ecobee 4, which is up on the wall over there. I'm not going to dismantle that for the video. Cameras, I got a Canary that doesn't necessarily work with smart things, but it's, you know, proprietary. It works by itself, so that's fine with me. Doorbells, the Ring 2, again, I'm not going to dismantle that. That is kind of, you know, mounted on the wall and screwed in, so I'm not going to take that off. Remotes and buttons, I got 6 Hue remotes, and I have an Aeon multi-button remote. That one's really awesome, like I was saying in the other videos. We're going to really dive deep on that one because that one has a lot of capabilities. Samsung products, I just got the TV. Like I said, it's going to be a basic notification tool, and yeah, so it's going to be really good to keep up on all the different smart devices. So like if you know my thermostat goes above X degree, it'll tell me so that when it turns on, or if somebody's at the front door, it'll ping and say, hey, somebody's here. Or if, let's say you got kids and they're going in your liquor cabinet, every time your liquor cabinet opens, you'll get a text message or an email. So different things are going to be amazing, and that one is specifically a notification tool, so that's awesome. Sensors, we got 5 motion, 5 water, 10 contact. We have a multi-sensor and a presence detector, which is going to be, in most cases, your cell phone, which I don't have with me. They do have little keychain fobs that count as presence detectors, and I mean, you can get them, but I mean, they would be for children and stuff, or even elderly people who don't have a smartphone. Mainly speaking, though, you're going to use your cell phone. Motion sensor, you know, obviously that's self-explanatory, and the multi-sensor, that one, so all of these are multi-sensors. The Aeon one just does lumens, so it can detect how bright or how dim it is in a specific area. So if you get a lot of sunlight through one room versus not a lot in another room, you can have your house even out how bright your lights actually are. And if you purchase the blinds and other stuff, you can go ahead and have it open and close based off of whatever settings you have chosen. Speakers will be Sonos. I only have one of those. It's a good thing, but I like the big boys. So they have, my receiver actually has Google Assistant built in, so go figure, right? But yeah, I mean, honestly, they're loud enough to play through my entire house. I don't have a huge house, but you know, it's perfect for me. And people that have dozens of Sonos speakers, those are really great because, again, not only are they notification tools, but they can also play music too. So if somebody's at the front door, it can be like, hey Kyle, somebody's at the front door. Instead of you getting a message alert from Ring, you could just get your Sonos players to say it out loud. Or if you left the garage door open, if you forgot to feed the dog, if you know dinner's done and you don't want to shout, you can just push a button and boom, it'll play throughout the speakers. Hey, dinner's done. Instead of having to ring that triangle like we used to back in the day. Millions of different applications for all these different things. Switches, I got 4 light switches. Previously I bought dimmable ones, which I learned are not good for your fluorescent tubing. So I think I broke one of them. I think blew one of them actually. So I did some more research before I bought more. So I have 3 fluorescent tube lights in my house. One of them's working with the dimmable one. It's 80% working, so I'm going to keep that one as it is. The other ones I bought was for my laundry room and for my kitchen. So that one I'd recommend you get an electrician to install. I don't know if you're or anybody is familiar with, you know, actually switching out a light switch. It's not too hard, but if you're mildly concerned, don't do it. The vents, I have one of them, complete waste of money. I found out that they're actually really bad for your air conditioning unit. So unless you build your house and you pick a specific air conditioning unit that works with those, don't get it. Your house is made for the size, or your AC unit is made for the size of your house, and that's it. Like you're not supposed to shut off different areas of the house unless you have an underpowered unit. So let's say my office right now is warmer than my studio. What's going to happen is it would shut the vents to this and then open this up so the air can go to it. When you shut off that, it sends back pressure down to your AC unit, and that's actually really, really bad for it. So we're not going to use that. If you're actually building a house and you predetermine that you're going to get an underpowered AC unit so that you can flow in and out and not have to worry about backdraft, that's perfectly fine. But in most cases, pretty much everybody else, kind of useless. I got the assistants. We got Alexa and Google Home and Siri.
I don't know that.
Alright, I'm not talking to you. So, my thermostat has the Alexa built in. I do have a Dot. I did give away my Echo Tower. I already have enough speakers, so I gave that to one of my friends. And I'm trying to switch everything over to Google anyway. If you guys aren't familiar with it yet, I keep talking about it, but Google's going to take over the world in a couple years. So get ready, get used to their stuff, and you know, it's all good. And Siri, you know, everybody knows she's not the best, but you know, she works in certain applications better than others. So for the wall plugs, I got 3 of those. Those are essentially, instead of me having to replace a receptacle like I am with the light switch, it's just a wall plug, kind of like that timer at your grandma's house where she used to plug it in and turn the lights on, and then it used to go around the clock and then turn off at a certain time just to pretend like somebody was home. Those have multiple applications as well. So certain things that I use it for is my popcorn machine. So when I say movie time, my projector turns on, my surround sound turns on, it switches all the inputs, my lights dim, and then, you know, if you were to have the blinds would shut, and then your popcorn machine turns on. And it's kind of really cool when it all just happens. So that's one way to use it. I have another plug plugged into my Nintendo 64, and essentially you just say turn on N64, and boom, your Nintendo 64 is now smart. And then I have another beer sign too, so when I say it's party time, my beer light turns on. But you can use them in a million different applications. It's just all up to you on what you want it to do. I have another one where I plug it into my Milwaukee fan too. So it's just a standard, you know, fan, and then it's turned on all the time, and then you just plug the plug into the outlet, and then when it's time to turn on, it'll just turn on. Now you can do that with temperature as well. So if your thermostat or any of your other multi-sensors reaches above a certain degree, it will trigger the fan to turn on so that it regulates temperature before the AC has to kick on. So keep in mind, when having all of this stuff, when it all works together, it is a completely magical and futuristic place that we actually have available to us right now. And I think when most people think of a smart home, they kind of just look at, ooh, I can turn my lights on with my phone. It's like, no. When you walk into a room, your room reacts to how you want it set. There's no more need for having tedious tasks. Like, I know it sounds silly to have to walk up and turn the light switch off, but in all reality, that's one less thing that you have to worry about. And when your house turns off all at once, it's just that much sweeter. And automation is the key to eliminating, you know, daunting, easy, monotonous tasks. It's like, why do I have to worry about doing that when it should just do it for me? We live in a time where it's actually capable of doing it, and it's going to be real soon when you go to your friend and say, hey, you still got a basic house? I mean, I'm sure you'd look at somebody pretty weird today. You know, 8 years ago, back 2010, you'd probably look at somebody and be like, I don't need a smartphone. And now you can't live without it, right? But it's going to be a time real soon when you look at your friend and say, hey, you still got basic lights? Your house doesn't tell you when you left the garage open? You know, it's just like, oh, you have to turn the fan on? It's hot in here. Your house should have recognized that it's hot in here. It should be regulating temperature for you versus blasting your electricity with all your AC. You know, there's a million different ways you can look at it. And I have MIDI controllers. So MIDI controller will be a Harmony, which would, again, control your TV, your, what the hell's that thing? Your projector, your surround sound. And the cool thing about Harmony is, I think it's 250,000. It has 250,000 remotes inside of it. So I have a fan in my room, which is the non-smart thing right here. It has a remote control. Harmony has 250,000 remotes built into it, and all you have to do is have anything with a remote, whether it's, I don't know if coffee machines have it, but if a coffee machine had a remote, if your LED light strips have a remote, if you got even those lights that have the remote, if you, any fans, anything with a remote, you can essentially make it smart without having to buy anything extra with Harmony. Because right now, all I have to do is either yell at my voice assistant, push a button on my phone, or push a physical button here, and my basic $20 fan that I got from, I think, Target, it's smart now, you know? So to go over all the rooms and all the differences and what we're going to be doing here, so my master bedroom, we're doing 4 lights, with color. We're doing the MIDI controller to Harmony. Really, it's just an extension piece on the Harmony. The Harmony's going to stay out here, and I'll have a wire that runs into my room that blasts the IR. Samsung TV, the fan, and we're going to do one remote with the Hue, which is going to be a button that turns my lights on and off, contact sensor, and we're going to put that on the door. So when you walk in, the door is just going to open and the lights are going to turn on. Now that door is also going to have a temperature controller in it. So if it detects that it goes above X degree, it'll turn my non-smart fan on. So, entryway, we got 2 lights that are white, a doorbell, and a contact sensor on the door. So, like I said, the doorbell's already out there, and that's cool because it tells me when somebody's at the door. Earlier in the video when we were doing the display over there, somebody came up, dropped a package off, and essentially you can get that notification all the time. You can get it through your speakers, you can get it through your phone, you can get it through your TV, whatever you want. But the nice thing about that is it's also a motion sensor. So this is going a step further than what it actually is. So when you combine this with other apps, it allows you to combine all the possibilities. So let's look at it like this. If that's a motion sensor and it records video and audio while it's going off, what's next? I got hue lights. Hue lights turn on, right? They turn on. So if I got a motion sensor that when it walks up, it turns the lights on, wouldn't that be a great thing for when you're coming home at night? You don't have to leave your light on all day. What happens if you leave your light on all day? All the bugs when you get home. When you get home, you gotta swat all those damn bugs away, and you know, because they're just hanging out with the light. And if you want to relieve that, all you gotta do is just have a smart door lock. I'm sorry, a smart doorbell and some hue lights or Lithics, smart lights, you know, whatever. And another great thing about that is you don't ever have to leave your light off, forget to leave your light on or whatever, and come home and have to fumble with your keys getting into the door. So the nice thing about that is too, if you look at it from a security aspect, if somebody's coming to rob your house and there's a motion sensor that turns lights on right at your front door, this person's going to think that you're walking right up to your front door. Like, there's so many benefits just for that scenario alone that it is, honestly, it's awesome. I love it. So I've got mine set to turn on, and then after 180 seconds or 3 minutes, it will turn off, the light will turn off automatically. So when you walk out, it'll turn on so that you can lock your door, and then when you walk in, it'll turn on so that you don't have to deal with the bugs and you can find your keyhole. Then in my gym, I got a motion sensor so that when I walk in there, the lights just turn on, and there's 2 white lights, so that's kind of basic. Living room, we got 6 colors, 5 Lithics tiles. We got the Hugo MIDI controller, which is the Harmony, Google Home Mini, the camera, 2 Hue remotes, one for the couch and one for kind of when you first walk in. And I want to put the Aeon remote out here because that one has a lot of functionality, so we're going to be able to do a lot with that one. We're going to do a contact sensor on the back door as well. So when the back door opens, I want to know. And then, so I'll get a text message every time the back door opens, or I'll get a text message when the back door opens when I'm not home. Or the light will turn on, or both. I don't know how I'm going to do that one yet, but we'll figure that one out as we go. We've got the master restroom shower. So these are kind of my keywords that I've come up with. I've come up with my own language to distinguish all the smart devices. This is probably going to be my 17th time through designing and developing my house. Obviously I just got a bunch of new stuff, but I've been doing smart stuff for probably about 2 years now, and I've finally got a pretty large collection. So in my restroom, I want 8 white lights and 1 motion sensor. And what that's going to do, it's going to allow me to walk in the bathroom and the lights just turn on. I know that sounds simple, but if you go to any restroom at a restaurant, at the grocery store, no matter where you go, you walk in and those lights just turn on, right? Why don't you have that at your house? I mean, I know it sounds like a basic novelty item, but if you think about it, all right. Number one, you walk in, lights just turn on. Beautiful thing, right? Now, every action has to have an opposite or reaction, however you want to say it. It's not necessarily that law. What is it, Newton's law? I don't know. I'll figure that out. But what it is it's the smart law, because any action can and probably will have a different reaction. So essentially what that means is if the light turns on, there has to be a rule for it to shut off. So mine is set to 12 minutes. So walk in, lights turn on, full blast. After 12 minutes, they turn off. That's long enough to take a shower, get in, get out, and if there's no motion, it'll just shut off. And then you don't have to worry about flipping the switch, you don't have to worry about it not turning off, you don't have to worry about any of those little insecurities or whatever that you do, or you might leave on, or any of that stuff. So that's cool. But now let's think about after midnight, or after you're already sleeping. Do you want your lights to be on full blast? How many times have you gone to the bathroom in the middle of the night and not been able to go back to sleep because you walked in there, the lights are on full blast, and you're just awake now? Now, another bad thing too is how many times have you gone in and not turned the lights on for that specific reason, and either made a mess or slipped or whatever, just ran into something, stubbed your toe. You don't have to worry about that anymore. With smart lighting, you can turn your lights on to 5% when you like after a specific time. So mine's set for after 1 a.m. The lights only turn on, only one light turns on, and it turns on to 5%. So I don't have to worry about tripping over anything. I don't have to worry about stubbing my toe. I don't have to worry about it being too bright for me to go back to sleep. And guess what? That one's only set for 60 seconds. So you walk in, take care of business, get out. And then you don't have to worry about flipping any switches, finding anything, fumbling in the middle of the night. And then after 7 a.m., I think it's 6 a.m., after 6 a.m. it'll turn on full brightness again, so that when you wake up in the morning, get a shower, do whatever you gotta do, lights are back to normal. So you can see that there is like countless possibilities with what's actually possible, and it's really up to your imagination, and it really honestly takes time, because I didn't have the faintest idea what I was doing when I bought my first kit. I started out with 3 lights, and I just thought it was cool that they could change colors. And before you know it, now I've got, let's see, I got like 40 lights. And it's pretty much covering my entire house. And whether or not it's the lights, I'm controlling the built-in lights too, like the fluorescent tubing with the light switches. So there's again, I'm not going to repeat myself a million times, but you can do everything that you want to do and just make it easier. So in my master bedroom closet, I got a contact sensor on the door and a switch to turn on the fluorescent tubing, so when I walk in, the lights turn on. When I shut the door, it turns off. In the kitchen, I got the popcorn machine and the beer sign and the fluorescent light, so I got to put a switch in there. And laundry, we got the fluorescent tubing again, so we need a switch in there. Motion sensor, so when I walk in, it's there, and then a contact sensor for the washer and dryer so that I can map out when it's done. Now, here's a fun one. Let's just pretend that you're really bad at laundry, and you need to be reminded constantly that your laundry's done. So this will be good for elderly people, this will be good for people who are bad at laundry, this is good for pretty much anybody. You put a contact sensor on your doors that open and close, and if you get a light, you can get a notification on your phone, you can get your Sonos speaker to tell you when your laundry is done, and it will remind you up until the fact that you go and take it out. So That one is mildly complicated because we have to take into consideration how long your cycle is actually going to be, and we have to take into consideration that it's going to open twice. So one is to trigger it to start, the second one is to trigger that it's over, and then we have to wait again until the next one. So that one's going to be mildly involved. I'm probably going to use my Lithics tiles, which is that big X that I showed you in a previous video. And that's basically going to be my notification tool. It's going to be like, if this is blue, the laundry's done. If this one's purple, that means that, you know, it's time for dinner, or, you know, like, you can use them to tell you whatever you want. For the studio, I'm going to do 2 lamps color. I'm going to do 1 remote hue, 1 lithic strip, and a contact sensor. Again, so when I walk through the door, lights turn on, everything's good. And then restroom shower, which is my guest bathroom, we're going to do the lights and a motion sensor. And the backyard, we're going to put a light out there so it just turns on. And that is the basic layout of the house. I'm sorry I went on rambling and blah blah blah, but it's important, if you really honestly care about this, to take into consideration all the different variables and how it can truly affect your life. So, I mean, really think about it. Like, you can literally slim down and automate your lifestyle with just a few simple things. Now, again, this stuff is pretty difficult, and I'm going to show you the ups and downs and everything in between, because this stuff is frustrating. I'm going to probably estimate that this stuff will take me a total of 30 hours plus to actually automate completely and get it to the way that I want it. So again, I'm not going to show you guys all of that. You know, there's going to be some breakage, and you know, you're not going to be watching for 30 hours, but stick with me, and thanks for, if you made it this far. Please comment, subscribe, give me any other suggestions that you want. And don't forget, start smart, stay smart. And I'm Kyle B, you know me, and this is our smart home tutorial. Peace.